Money has changed shapes thousands of times, from cowrie shells used as currency in Africa to the silver denarii of Rome, to paper notes, to the digital numbers we just tap on our phones today. But while the form of money changed, human behavior didn't. Not really. And that's why some of the most powerful money lessons we can learn come from people who lived hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Today, we'll explore timeless money lessons from history, each one proven, simple, and still powerful enough to change your life. Let's jump in. Our first lesson comes from the Roman Empire. Live below your means. In ancient Rome, a legionary was paid a respectable salary, but despite this, many died broke. Why? Because Roman culture, especially in the cities, encouraged massive spending on elaborate clothes, lavish parties, and all the visible markers of status. One historian wrote that the Roman soldier feared luxury more than warfare. Luxury, you see, destroyed discipline, and a lack of discipline destroys wealth.
Even with a state-sponsored pension plan waiting for them after 20 years of service, many couldn't escape the trap of spending every coin they earned. They teach us a critical lesson. If your income rises, but your spending rises right along with it, you haven't built wealth. You've just upgraded your treadmill. The modern takeaway is brutally simple. Live below your means, because real wealth isn't built by what you earn, but by the gap you create between what you earn and what you spend. Our second lesson is even older, and it's about diversification. The oldest piece of financial advice ever found comes from ancient Mesopotamia, etched on a clay tablet over 3,000 years ago. It told merchants, put your goods in 7 or 8 ships, because if one sinks, you will not lose everything. This is, quite literally, the earliest known form of diversification. And you have to imagine the context. These merchants were sending goods like grain, wool, and textiles down the Tigris and Euphrates, or overland to Anatolia and the Indus Valley. The risks were enormous. Back then, boats sank. Today, sectors crash.
Companies fail. Currencies inflate. The principle hasn't changed one bit. We see the consequences of ignoring it all the time. Think of the Enron employees who had their entire life savings invested in company stock, only to see it vanish overnight. They had all their goods on one ship, and that ship sank. The lesson from Mesopotamia is clear. Don't put all your money in one investment, one stock, or rely on a single source of income. Your financial future should never depend on a single boat making it safely to shore. So, from the disciplined Roman soldier who saved his denarii to the clever Mesopotamian merchant spreading his risk across the rivers, the core lessons are the same. Technology changes, markets evolve, but the principles of building lasting wealth, discipline, and prudence are as timeless as human nature itself. They're etched not just in clay tablets, but in the successes and failures of all who came before us.
Imagine the sun beating down on the banks of the Nile thousands of years ago. A farmer, after a long harvest, isn't just thinking about tonight's meal. He's thinking about the future, about survival. He takes his grain and meticulously divides it into 3 clay jars. The first jar is for living, the food his family will eat. The second is for the pharaoh, the taxes that keep the kingdom running. But it's the third jar that holds the real secret to his family's endurance. This is the reserve jar, and it is non-negotiable. He fills this jar before thinking about entertainment, before luxuries, before anything else. He literally pays himself first, a concept we think is modern, but which was practiced as a rule of survival. The families who honored that third jar survived the famine years, the years the Nile didn't flood. The ones who didn't, they simply didn't make it. It's a stark lesson from the dust of history. If you save what's left after spending, you will save nothing. But if you save before spending, your wealth grows, slowly but surely. Now, let's fast forward a few thousand years, to the cobblestone streets of medieval Europe. The air is thick with the smell of wood smoke and commerce. In the center of a bustling marketplace, a man is chained in public.
His crime wasn't theft or violence. It was unpaid debt. The punishment was harsh, a public humiliation, but
It taught a principle that has never lost its power. Debt, when used poorly, can entrap you faster than any iron chain. Bad debt has always been a destroyer of reputations, of families, of entire futures. But even then, the smartest people understood that not all debt was a trap. Some forms of it built wealth. Trade loans to fund a merchant's voyage, business loans to expand a workshop. This was productive borrowing. They understood a simple equation. If debt makes you money, it's good. If it only makes you stressed, it's bad. The lesson is 1,000 years old, but it's as true today as it was then. Debt is a tool. Use it wisely, or it will use you. From the wisdom of saving and the danger of debt, we travel next to the 1700s and 1800s to a young and ambitious America. Here, early investors started doing something revolutionary. They abandoned the chase for fast profits. Instead, they bought assets, land, companies, entire industries, and they simply held on. For decades, they understood a fundamental truth that we often forget in our fast-paced world.
Many of the wealthiest families today can trace their entire fortune back to this one simple principle. Patience beats timing, consistency beats talent, and time beats everything. It's a pattern etched throughout financial history. The people who tried to get rich fast usually lost it all, and the people who invested slowly, consistently, and patiently, they were the ones who won big in the end. True wealth, they discovered, comes from time in the market, not from trying to time the market. So, from the grain jars of ancient Egypt, to the public squares of Middle Ages, to the burgeoning industries of early America, 5 lessons have survived for thousands of years. Why? Because while technology and empires change, human behavior doesn't. We still battle the same impulses, and if you can master these ancient rules, your financial future becomes far more predictable. Live below your means, diversify your risks, pay yourself first, avoid bad debt, and be patient, not brilliant. These aren't just dusty habits from the past. They are the timeless principles that still build modern wealth.